Hey everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star, Mopars.com. Tuesday night, it is 10:24 p.m. late night, grinding out some videos for you. And truth be told, I'm also excited because this showed up today, not something that's been sitting around for a long time where I need to get cleared off or moved in or put in use. They literally came today. And what we have here, this is, I guess, I don't know if we'll call this our Capri Tool Haul number 1 or something else. We'll figure it out. You'll already know by the title, but right now it's in a state of flux. But, if you recall Capri, you've probably seen it on the channel before, and that's because my first set of ratcheting wrenches that we brought in were Capri. Picked them up from Amazon. What I loved about the set is the fact that it went bigger than 3/4 of an inch, and it came in a foam tray. I love the foam tray. I still love the foam tray. The foam tray has held up. Most importantly, though, the bigger investment part, these wrenches have held up. 15/16 I use all the time. The 5/8 bolts have to be turned too. I don't know what people don't understand about that. SKX frames, still love them, but they still haven't increased the size. So you're stuck at 3/4 or 7/8 with so many sets, and 15/16 one, even bigger than that, 3/4 bolts. We kind of need them in the world. And this, bottom line though, is my first experience with Capri. I've been happy. I've got nothing bad to say, and subsequently that means we're willing to try other things. Started following Capri a while back, and interestingly I never saw this, and luckily I was out of town. That might have something to do with missing it, but I was down Fredericksburg, San Antonio, somewhere in the hill country, and Autobahn Dan, on his story, as he so often does, he has flyers and takes the time to do all kinds of stuff on there, but one of them was from Capri, and it was some ridiculous offer that seemed too good to be true. It was buy the 8-piece screwdriver set with the foam tray and get a 6-piece set of Torx drivers for free. Not for a reduced price, not for 50% off, for free. And I thought, you know what? I'd been wanting to try these drivers for a while, and the only Torx drivers that I believe I own are T25. I could be mistaken, but I think it's just a couple of VHA T25s. And I thought, that wouldn't be a terrible thing to have, and I like foam trays, and in particularly Capri's, because we had them. So went direct, picked it up. Sure enough, it was legitimate. As soon as I got back in town, this deal I think expired at the end of last week. It got here in pretty good time, I think 3 or 4 days out of California. Only thing I'm going to complain about right now is my sticker. I got one and it's bent, and that's really sad because I actually love the black and blue. If you did not know, it's one of the things that drew me to them. I was disappointed in that. However, should you see this after the promotion, or hope that another one comes around, so right here, should you want to replicate this, this is their 8-piece Kontour Screwdriver Set, model number CP as in Chris Paul 25000 SS8 KMT. That's going to be Kontour Mechanics Tray, if I'm not mistaken. Packaging is actually pretty slick. Nothing too crazy, nothing too fancy, but it is nice. Very nice presentation. Now let's use the world's most difficult to open knife from Jadora. Cut this open. Capri also, something they've been getting a lot of attention about here the last couple of weeks. They dropped the light, and it looks a lot like an Astro, which I've had really good luck with, but it has a UV feature, and the reason that's kind of cool is if you've got any leak detection stuff, that's blacklight comes in handy for that, and the ability to have both in the same package with all the cool features of the Astro light. It's looking like something we might want to bring in, and then we would sort of have a backup, have two, because truth be told, while those lights are awesome, they are limited in their range. If you have two, you can double your range, which would be nice. But now with the plastic off, you can see this a little bit better. The black and the blue, that's kind of the color scheme I follow, matches the Mopar tin. And here we go. The good stuff awaits us, my friends. Let's get that kicked back. Let's pull this up. Nice packaging, look at that. Gonna keep it all in place so we don't have any damage ahead of time. And we'll go ahead and just use the Jador knife here carefully so we don't cut the foam. And I guess, really the thing to do would just be to get this box out of here. So there it is again. If black and blue is your color scheme, kind of like you see on my Mopar work mat there, it makes it all the more sweet. Now if you're black and yellow, black and red, orange and black, pink and yellow, I don't know what you're into, purple and green, old school Barney, yellow, pink, Not necessarily going to be as cool, but if you're like me and black and blue is one of your color schemes, makes it that much better. So we'll get this off. Very simple, although it's nice packaging, it's very easy to dismantle. Now, what I loved about the Capri ratcheting wrenches foam tray is everything was labeled, because to save space, instead of laying them out like that where you can read it, you turn them like this and then you can fit a crud ton of wrenches, right? Makes sense. Then here on the business end, you can see 15/16 in the top section of the foam. And in fact, that's what we have here. Phillips is going to be on this side, slotted going to be here. So if we spin her around, let's just go ahead and check it out. We've got the stubby quarter, we've got the 3/16, we have got the quarter in a larger size there, and then of course our biggest slotted in this set is going to be 5/16. Now spinning her around this direction, we're going to have our Phillips stuff, and we're going to actually have our number 2 Phillips. Of course, that's going to be the stubby. If you're curious why 1 is beside it, that is why. Here we've got our standard number 2, and then of course the long 6-inch handle is going to be a part of our Phillips number 3. So, are they easy to pick up? The answer is going to be yes on the Central Valley. If you're thinking, hey, stubbies, what about them? We've got a nice finger slot. So, in terms of stubbies, this is padded really well. I've always been contemplating something with stubbies, more on that in a way later video. But the part number is going to be on there. I guess if we needed to order it, it is stamped, albeit very smally. All of these will have the hanging hole. Again, can't stress that enough. Some manufacturers want you to use that, you know, as like extra leverage. The proper way of doing that would be to have a hex bolster. But I'm sure some people will do it. Might hold up to it, but realistically, you just want to use that for hanging on pegboard or whatever crazy rigs you've got going. But I gotta say, I do kind of like the stubby. Very nice. Now, what I was afraid of with these, they've gotten ergonomic to them, but it was kind of small, and I say that because I've already opened up the Torx drivers that were free at work, and I was pretty excited. But right here, you can kind of see again. Now, this right here is not just decorative. It's not like, oh, color splash. That's actually to indicate it's slotted, which again is a nice feature. The font there, it's not just the camera. It is pretty small. If I had anything to suggest, it might be just, you know, to kind of black circle slot and have the size be kind of in the color. But hey, I mean, it is on the foam tray. As long as you're using the foam tray, I don't think you're going to have many issues. Let's go ahead now and step up right here to the quarter, which, truth be told, that's usually what I will use the most frequently with slotted. Almost everything I do is Phillips or Torx. But sometimes we get old school stuff and we got to go slotted. It feels pretty good. It's a little... this bulge here, and again, some of you this will be perfect. I think they did a safe thing. It's not undersized, it's also not oversized, because when I complain about something feeling small, I prefer like super bulge, VHA soft finish, you know, the ergonomics. Some of the VIT drivers are actually really nice too. We'll get some stuff pulled out because, you know, we got screwdrivers to compare it to. We'll kind of showcase that, but in terms of torque and leverage, I think we will be a-okay. And then of course right here we've got our big granddaddy of them all, the 5/16 by 6-inch, if I'm not mistaken. And it doesn't feel as balanced, but it still feels good in hand. So we'll kind of go over some of the features of these in just a little bit. They are chrome moly. The tips, they're not painted, they're black phosphate, so that's a good start. Again, the little stubbies though might kind of be a shining hero from this set. Let's go ahead. The Philo was my stubbiest stubby for the longest time, and let's kind of see how these compare. When you want a stubby, now granted you don't always have to have it super short, but it does make sense. Once again, the Philo reigns supreme. This is not a knock on Capri. I bought this because it had the shortest overall length out of anything that was stubby that I could find, and it continues to reign supreme. However, which one would be more comfortable? The hard, super hard, what is that, 802 plastic, or this? The answer is this is far more comfortable. Now the VHA soft finish, these are one of our more recent VHA editions. You can kind of see it looks fatter. This just looks like a fun little ball. This one has a little more contour to it, no pun intended there. But again, the VHA is going to be quite a bit stubbier than this one. But again, outside of like super tight confines where you have to go to like an offset driver, this would be fine and again comfortable. Now the VHA soft finish, it feels really good in hand. This though, with the contour, might be favorable versus a soft finish. And again, that may not translate to the full-size drivers, but in terms of stubbies, it's kind of nice having that like a resting pad for your fingers. So they're doing pretty good. They're not super short, but they are incredibly comfortable. So it's kind of a catch-22. Which one do you prefer and value the most? Now right here, our number one Phillips. Here's the good old Black Widow. Let's make sure. I'm assuming it's going to be a 3, 4, and 6. Oh yeah, it's right about 3 inches there. Again, Black Widow, what a great addition in terms of you getting to see it. So note where that one just had the slot, this one does have the cross or the plus sign for Phillips. Very not wanting to show itself, but it is there. We'll come in now. Let's grab the Granddaddy. Again, this should be a 6-inch shaft. We will make sure and confirm right now. That's what I'd call it. So very nice specs here. They're not off any. Black phosphate on the tips. We'll showcase that one. Again, have not used these. You saw it. You know, sometimes I can't help myself, but these are straight out of the packaging. Now, since we have this guy here, you can clearly see the plus to indicate Phillips. We've got the, you know, thin line right there for slotted. That is our hanging hole. This is the size. Again, even though the driver's getting bigger, they maintain the same print size, case in point on the stubby. Or is it a little bit bigger? I guess it is a little bigger. It's still, I would say, undersized print on all of them. I feel like you could easily have that size here, and there might be a better way. I mean, you know, if you just did quarter or something, just keep it simple, maybe eliminate excess information. But this one is kind of the same sort of top heavy, not super balanced, but it does feel pretty good. I was afraid I wouldn't like these like I thought I would. Now the one that will get by far the most use for me will be the number 2. This one should be 4 inches. We will confirm that now. Boom, right on the money at the tip. So essentially we've got 6-inch, 4-inch, 3-inch, and I think the packaging said 1.5 inches on these. That would be correct, my friend. So again, very, very comfortable stubby, but not the stubbiest of the stubs, if you catch my drift there. Nonetheless, this will be my bread and butter, man, from the set, and we want to highlight a couple more features here. Now, there's no hex bolster, there's no driving handle, no striking cap. You know, these are going to be just a basic screwdriver. Tips, nothing crazy, no anti-cam out, no laser, but a pretty solid set. Particularly when you figure 49 bucks, let's call it 50, 8 drivers, that's roughly $6.25 each, if I'm not mistaken on the quick math. But $6.25 is an okay price. The foam tray, I could easily consider that 20 bucks. If we call it 20, that makes this 8-piece set $30. That's less than 4 bucks a driver. That's a pretty solid buy in my opinion. If you are a foam tray person, and your color scheme is similar to mine, if you find this color favorable, black and blue, kind of teal, soft sky blue, whatever you want to call it, super cool deal. Now, will this work with other drivers? I'm not sure because this is a little bit smaller of a profile. This one feels really good. It is balanced quite well. Now, the bigger 6-inch shaft, not balanced. This one and everything smaller seems fine to me. It does feel like it has some kind of grit to it. It's not like the Philo where we pick stuff up, but it does kind of have some grit to it, so I guess that's something from packing. Nonetheless, anti-roll is featured here on the tip, as you see in so many drivers, but they actually advertise that these ribs are anti-roll. I tested that with the Torx drivers. Actually kind of seemed to work. Now, if I had enough momentum, I could roll them off my desk, but you know, here on the shop bench, I don't really have the space, so you'll just have to run with it on that one. But feel really good. The main thing though, foam frickin' tray. So let's get some rough measurements on this guy for you. Coming across with the Widow, 15.5. You can't really see it, take my word for it. I would not lie to you, not at this point anyway. Length, or what we're going to come over here and call out, it's going to be 11.25. So 15.5, 11.25, and then the thickness That's what we'll call this measurement. Gonna be about 1.25 inches or so. That's what we'll run with. And what I want to do now, since we do have a crud ton of screwdrivers here on the bench, let's see what all fits. Stavilla 3K, no. Kind of had a feeling. This one, which gets insanely dirty, no. That might be a buzzkill for some of you if you ever, say, broke one of these and you wanted to drop one in, or you've worn out the whole set, so on and so forth. Let's go ahead and just grab one of these chisel drivers. Vera chisel drivers, I thought they had a similar profile, and they do. So, kind of looks funky. Imagine that in yellow, though. Wouldn't that be a sick aesthetic look for the Vera chisel drivers? I think so. So that is cool. They look similar, and they check out as well. Let me clear out a lot of stuff here. Alright, so let's come in and let's grab a VHA soft finish. Now, this is a huge bulge. It's what I like. It's comfortable to me. Could you modify it? Oh, yeah. But is it going to fit? I don't know. Sadly, though, the battery light is flashing at a very inopportune time. So there you kind of see a comparison, the VHA and the Capri Kontour. Let's grab the, what do we want to go with? We got this guy here, the Max Pro. It's going to be a significantly larger profile. I mean, you can just tell looking at that, the size difference. A chisel driver, we'll go ahead and grab one of these guys. This will be a number 2x4, basically the same exact size. Let's make sure it fits. It's going to be a little too fat. You could, yeah, it'll fit. Just, you know, gonna have to press her in. So you can see what I mean about this having the ergonomics but being a little smaller. Now, it doesn't feel bad to me, but I think if it was a little bit fatter, that would actually be ideal for me as an end user. That said, this is the tray. This is the setup that we've got. I want to quickly try and wrap this up by jumping here, because this was free, and that's a crazy good deal. Again, 50 bucks, foam tray, 8 drivers, 6-piece Torx set, T10, 15, 20, 25, 27, and 30, free. And oh yeah, if you were wondering, it's in a foam frickin' tray. This was just one of those things. It seemed too good to be true, and it was real because they let me buy it. But I gotta say, I'm super ecstatic about it. This battery, I'm super worried about, though. I want to go ahead and pull this out quickly if we can. This is kind of why I was worried. These were all the same size. They were a little undersized. You can clearly see the star orientation here. Now, the foam tray itself, T10, 15, 20, and then when we flip her around here, 25, 27, and 30. Let's go with my 25 here, which is what I have to use all the time at work. Pretty decent appearance overall. It's a very thin shaft, I will say that. The contour handle, it seems a little undersized to me. But again, some people will prefer it. It's certainly not going to get many people objecting it's too big. Even small hand people, I think this would be akin to, like, say, my VHA soft finish or Vera or the big Max Pros from Vit. But like I said, I didn't have Torx drivers outside of a couple of T25s I just brought in to try the handles out, sort of some cheaper VHAs. So this is a welcome addition. And again, the big thing, foam tray. Other big thing on the foam tray, dimensions, I want to get those to you. Coming across 15 1/4. This side is going to be a little bit smaller, 7 1/2. And then our overall width or height or fatness or thickness, just about 1 1/4. So as you can see, it's a bit smaller than what we have there. I'll get these in the box. I'm just afraid this thing is going to die before we make it. Again, super freaking happy with those. I will tell you, the other item I brought in for $19.99 right here, their part number 212. It is a self-adjusting wire stripper. People criticize this design all the time. I love it. I've highlighted why I love it. We're going to do a standalone on that just because of the battery light. But what I want to do now is pull these over to the toolbox, get them in a tray, and see what they look like. All right, frantically doing this just to have it done, hopefully before the battery dies. There we are. Plenty of space, as you can see, with our Torx drivers. And then when we come up to this one, boom. Lots of space here. This is the slimmest drawers I have. The foam easily clears, no interference. We're home free. This is currently a huge project over here in and of itself. That's why I don't do videos in this area, but they fit, they look awesome. I'm excited to put them to use, see what we think of them. Again, 50 bucks, $49.99. Got us the 8-piece contour set with the foam tray and these for free, which that kind of made it a seriously good deal. It was not a bad buy as is, but getting 6 Torx drivers for free, I can't pass that up. That said, my apologies. We will cover the wire stripper standalone, but I'm excited to put these to use. You know, we've got a ton of drivers that we can compare and contrast these with. We might eventually do that. But right now, I just didn't want this battery to die. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. By all means, if you have used these, let me know how you're liking them, how they're holding up. Are you a foam tray person or not a foam tray person? You do lose a little space, but it's super organized, super easy to tell what's missing. And again, our ratcheting wrenches have held up very well. That's the first thing I brought, and I do like their air guns too. I bought several of those off Amazon to have at work. I don't have one here. I'll probably get one eventually, but I think I've got 3 or 4 at work right now, so they've held up too. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed it. Comment if you've got any insights on these, if you've got experience. Last but not least, as always, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you have not. Feel free to tell some friends about this channel. And once more, shout out to Autobahn Dan, because somehow I would have missed this was it not for his Instagram feed. So I'll try to leave a link down below to his channel. He's very active on Instagram as well. All kinds of flyers and sales. I don't think much gets past him, so if you're strapped for time, you can follow somebody like that and possibly catch some pretty sweet deals like I did here. So again, pretty happy with my Capri stuff so far, and we will see what we think of these. But with that said, it is hot over here without the fan. I'm in shock the battery hasn't died, and I will end it on that note. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you guys back here in the next one.